Welcome again, class. All right. Today we're talking about the chemical process of the digestive system. Now, in our previous class, we explored digestion in general, but now we're going to look at the major enzymes, the major chemicals, or rather substances that are involved in chemical digestion and their functions and also their locations. All right, so the overview of digestion begins with its definition. As we well know, digestion is just the process of breaking down food into smaller molecules for absorption. And the major two types of digestion are the mechanical digestion and the chemical digestion. So the mechanical digestion is the digestion that involves physical breakdown of food, while the chemical digestion involves the breakdown of food, or rather the breakdown of food molecules using enzymes. Now you understand the difference that when it comes to mechanical digestion, there is no introduction of chemicals, but chemical digestion, as the name implies, is majorly using chemicals to break down food in the body. So moving on, we have key components of chemical digestion. The first is enzymes. The key components of chemical digestion we'll talk about are the enzymes, hydrolysis, and the major glands involved in chemical digestion. Now, what are enzymes? Enzymes are biological catalysts that speed up chemical reactions. The reason why I had to be specific, calling it a biological catalyst, because it is actually found in the body. You know, there are various catalysts. If you go into chemistry field, you find that there are also catalysts that speeds up chemical reactions, or rather, are not found in the body. But now enzymes are those chemicals that are found in the body, and what they do is they quicken up digestion process in the body. All right, so they help to speed up digestion in our body. Okay, then the second one is hydrolysis. Hydrolysis always takes place during chemical digestion. So as I noted here, the hydrolysis is the process by which the digestive system uses water and digestive enzymes to break down these molecules. Remember this, in hydrolysis, the prefix word hydro means water. The prefix word there, hydro, means water. That's why you whenever you find a word that has this prefix hydro, you know that it talks about water. So hydrolysis just simply uses water and digestive enzymes, which is the chemical digestion phase, to break down the food molecules into nutrients. All right, and the third is the major glands that are involved in chemical digestion, and they are the salivary glands, the gastric glands that are found in the stomach. We have the pancreas, the liver, and the small intestine. Okay, so moving on, we're going to start with the enzymes in the mouth. All right, now there are two major enzymes found in the mouth. The first is the salivary amylase, and the second is the lingual lipase. Now just take note that wherever you find the enzyme amylase breaks down carbohydrates. Amylase is focused on breaking down carbohydrates, because you still find that the stomach, or rather the pancreas, also secretes amylase. But whenever you see this enzyme amylase, know it is for carbohydrate breakdown or starch breakdown. All right, and then if you see this the enzyme lipase is to break down fat. Okay, it's just to break down fat. Now the reason why it is noted as salivary amylase, because this particular amylase is found in the saliva, okay, of our mouth. All right, and the lingual lipase is also found in our mouth. So there are other amylase and lipase that are found in the stomach and the pancreas. All right, but these two are found in the mouth. So what the salivary amylase does is it breaks down starch or carbohydrates into maltose. Take note, it breaks it down into maltose, because there'll be another action on this maltose that will change the maltose into glucose later on. All right, I'll still talk about it, but just take note that the amylase changes or breaks down starch and carbohydrates into maltose. All right, and the location, as I noted here, it is secreted by the salivary glands in the mouth. All right, in the mouth. Now the salivary glands, in our mouth we have three different salivary glands. We have the parotid salivary gland, we have the submandibular salivary gland, and we have the sublingual salivary gland. So the salivary amylase is located at the parotid salivary gland. That's where it is found, while the lingual amylase breaks down fats. Remember, triglycerides are fats. Okay, so while we are eating these foods, all right, these two enzymes start acting on this food right there in our mouth before they are being sent down to our stomach. Okay, now the lingual lipase is found in the sublingual salivary gland. Now the sublingual, okay, I have a diagram here that's going to show us the locations of these glands. All right, now you find that the parotid gland is just found at the edge of the mouth. All right, the tip of the mouth, close to the throat. All right, that's where the parotid gland is found. All right, then the submandibular gland is found at the lower jaw. All right. Remember that the upper jaw is called the maxilla, and the lower jaw is called the mandible. All right. All right. So the lower jaw secretes the submandibular gland, the submandibular salivary gland, while the sublingual gland is found under the tongue. It's found under the tongue. All right. I know we all know the word lingua franca. So anything about lingual has to do with speech. I know the tongue is is the organ in the mouth that carries out speech. That's why this particular gland is called the sublingual gland. All right. So whenever you see this word, just remember that is the salivary gland I found under the tongue. All right. So this sublingual gland is what secretes this the lingual lipase. Are you not seeing the connection? The lingual lipase is found in the sublingual salivary gland. So moving on, we have enzymes in the stomach. The first we have here is the pepsin. All right, the pepsin breaks down. The function of the pepsin is to break down proteins into smaller peptides. Now it is located by the gastric glands. Now the gastric glands are found in the stomach. Okay, but now the gastric glands have 3 different types in our stomach. Okay, but we are going to out of these 3 glands, these 3 gastric glands, will be majoring our explanation on just one of these glands, and that gland is called the oxyntic gland. Now it is the oxyntic gland that the oxyntic gastric gland that secretes the pepsin and the HCl, all right, that is found in our body. Now if you watch my previous video, I made mention of the hydrochloric acid that is being secreted in our stomach. Now in our stomach we have what we call concentrated hydrochloric acid, which is the concentrated HCl. All right, now this HCl, as I stated here, it activates the pepsin. It's what activates the pepsin to be released into the food substance in our stomach in order to break down proteins into peptides. All right. Now the hydrochloric acid also, as I stated here, it kills microbes, that's microorganisms, pathogens, germs that are found in the food that we ate. All right. The food that's now in the stomach. So the work of the hydrochloric acid is to kill these germs and to also activate the pepsin, as I stated here. Now the third enzyme that is found in the stomach is called the mucus. All right, because of how concentrated the HCl is, the mucus helps to protect the wall of the stomach from the action of the HCl. Remember that concentrated acids are very corrosive, that they can burn and eat up flesh. They can burn up muscles and flesh. So the mucus protects the walls of the stomach from being burnt up or eaten up by the HCl. All right, so moving on. Okay, so like over here in a diagram here, this diagram is also a very detailed and summarizing illustration of what goes on during chemical digestion. So you see the mouth there, it tastes, it chews, but the mouth secretes the saliva. Now it talks about saliva what lubricates the food. Okay, and also now if you notice the included digestion in this particular part, talking about saliva. Now why digestion is being included as one of the functions of the saliva is because of the salivary amylase and the lingual lipase that we talked about that is being secreted in the saliva. All right, so digestion actually starts or begins from the mouth. Okay, so the food moves down the esophagus down to the stomach. Now here in the stomach, food is being stored for over a period of time. Okay, that's why the stomach is also called the storage organ too, because it holds food for a while, so that digestion will be carried out properly before it moves it down to the small intestine. All right, so the stomach stores, it grinds. When we talk about peristalsis, that's what happens. Right, the grinding occurs due to peristalsis, and peristalsis is just, as I said, the contraction and relaxation of food. All right, in the stomach to form the chyme. It mixes, it digests, and it secretes acids. Okay, now the acid secretion here is what we talked about in the previous slide. Okay, rather the acid secretion is what we'll talk about in our next slide. Sorry, so let's just move to the next slide for better understanding. Or rather, sorry, I'm so sorry, it's what we've talked about already in our previous slide, talking about the release of pepsin and also the release of the hydrochloric acid. Okay, so we have the pancreas. All right, the pancreas is the next organ I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to look at the enzymes it secretes. All right, so Now, in the small intestine, we have two different chambers that are involved in absorption process. The first is the duodenum, and the second is over here, which is the brush border. Okay, so let's talk on this, the duodenum. All right, in the pancreas releases the pancreatic amylase and the lipase, all right, into the duodenum of the small intestine. Remember that whenever you hear amylase, as I said before, is for starch breakdown into maltose. Now, if you understand this, you find out that getting the functions of these enzymes will be quite easier for you. So you just have to concentrate on remembering the names, what differentiates these names. Okay, so the pancreatic amylase is even more easier. Once you say pancreatic, you know it's meant to be found in the pancreas. All right, so they break down starch into maltose, and they found in the pancreas as the source. So the next enzyme is the trypsin and the chymotrypsin. All right, they break down proteins also into smaller peptides. All right, and the source is also the pancreas. And then the third is the lipase. We have two types of lipase the pancreas normally releases: the colipase and I think the pancreatic lipase and the colipase. Yeah, that's the pancreatic lipase and the colipase. So these are the two types of lipase that is being produced in the pancreas. All right, so these two lipase breaks down fats. Triglycerides are fats. Remember what I said in the previous slide. So they break down triglycerides, which are fats, into glycerol and fatty acids. All right, into, just don't be scared about the big names. All right, triglycerides is just simple, is fat. All right, so you can just simply say it breaks down big chunks of fats into fatty acids. So you can say it breaks down fat into fatty acids. It's still correct. So the source is still the pancreas. Okay, so the pancreas releases three different enzymes. The first is the pancreatic amylase, the second is the trypsin and the chymotrypsin, and the third is the lipase. All right, and remember the lipase that is being secreted in the pancreas are of two types, which is the pancreatic lipase and the colipase. Okay, so we have the second part of the small intestine, which is called the brush border. It secretes three different enzymes, which is the maltase, the lactase, and the sucrase. Yes, now the function of the maltase is to convert maltose into glucose. Remember that maltose is the nutrient that was gotten after the enzyme amylase broke down carbohydrates and starch. Do you understand? So the process is just very simple. The amylase, the salivary amylase in the mouth, and the pancreatic amylase that is being released by from the pancreas breaks down carbohydrates and starch into maltose. Now these maltose are then further broken down into glucose using the maltase enzyme that is found in this small intestine. Okay, so the second enzyme we have is the lactase. All right, the lactase function is to convert lactose into glucose and galactose. All right, so these lactose are mostly gotten after milk has been broken down. You know, the milk we take, the proteinous milk we drink, yes, they are broken down into lactose, and then they are further broken down into glucose. All right, okay, by the secretion of the lactase. And then the third is the sucrase, the enzyme sucrase. Now the enzyme and the sucrase functions to convert sucrose into glucose and fructose. Now sucrose is actually also a nutrient that is gotten after the breakdown of carbohydrate and starch. All right, they are actually the nutrients that are gotten from the breakdown of simple carbohydrates. There are two types of carbohydrates that is being that is being found in foods. We have the complex carbohydrates and the simple carbohydrates. So that is it. Okay, so the sucrose is actually the nutrient that is gotten after simple carbohydrates are being broken down. Now those sucrose are then further broken down into glucose and fructose using the enzyme called sucrase. All right, so these ones are quite simple. Like the enzymes, the name of the enzymes that are found in this particular part of the small intestine, they are gotten from the particular nutrients that they are breaking down. So it is quite easy to remember these ones. So if you remember the maltose, you know that, okay, what breaks down maltose into glucose is the maltase. So the only change here was just the A. All right, they changed the O into the A. All right, let me pinpoint it out for us so we understand better. So it just, okay, this is just the O was just changed to A here. Sorry, that is just the difference. All right, and then same thing with the lactase here. All right, the lactase broke down lactose. So you find out that these names are, the only difference is just they changed the A to O. Okay, but the enzymes, their names are gotten from the nutrients that they are breaking down. Do you understand? Now, moving on, we have the absorption of nutrients. Now, remember that absorption takes place in the small intestine. At least major absorption takes place in the small intestine. All right, that's the primary site for nutrient absorption. Now, as I said in the previous video, this is where nutrients like the glucose, the the amino acids, and the fatty acids are being absorbed into the bloodstreams, into the blood. That's for the glucose and the amino acids, and then for the fatty acids, they are being absorbed into the lymph vessel. All right. So the second is the mechanism over here. All right, nutrients are absorbed through the villi in the bloodstream or lymph. Now, the villi or the villi, as some persons would pronounce it as, they are vessels that are found at the walls of the small intestine. All right, if you can get a better diagram of a villi or a villi, they look like finger-like vessels, finger-like I would say use that word vessels, finger-like blood strands that are found on the walls of the intestine. Now, these villi, they contain the capillaries. All right, I know capillaries are blood vessels. Now, these capillaries in this villi is what absorbs these nutrients. All right, that's how these nutrients enter into the blood. So once the nutrients are absorbed into the capillaries, they are blood vessels that then connect straight to the bloodstream and then to other parts of the body. All right, so this is the villi. This here, okay, this is the villi. All right, okay, so that is it. So the summary of the whole of this topic is quite okay. I just had to give us a very broad summary here. Right, summary of enzymes and their functions. So you have the salivary amylase that breaks down starch into maltose, and it is found in the mouth. So you can take this down. All right, then we have the pepsin that breaks down proteins into peptides. We have the pancreatic amylase that breaks down starch into maltose, and it is found or located in the duodenum. We have the trypsin that breaks down proteins into peptides. We have the lipase that breaks down fats into glycerol and fatty acids. All right, we have the maltase that breaks down maltose into glucose. We have the lactase that breaks down lactose into glucose. We have the sucrase that breaks down sucrose into glucose. So this is just into glucose and fructose. All right, so this is just a well compiled summary of everything that I talked about in this particular session. All right, so that is it. So in conclusion, enzymes play a critical role in breaking down food into absorbable units. So without enzymes, in fact, without enzymes, I think it would take, I don't really know, I don't really know what to say, but without enzymes, digestion will be very, 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 very slow. Meaning we can't be able to eat 3 times a day. You understand? Because it will take the body a longer period of time to break down this food stuff. Now, there's what we call malabsorption. There's what we call malabsorption. Now, malabsorption is actually a case where the body finds it hard to reabsorb nutrients, or rather to absorb nutrients into the blood. All right, that's malabsorption. Now, malabsorption can be due to lack of certain enzymes in your body. Okay, now if anyone has an issue of malabsorption, it can lead to so many effects. It can include stomach pain. There are so many, effects that are associated with malabsorption. All right. So you can imagine that enzymes, like take for example, imagine if your body lacks the enzyme lactase. All right. If it lacks it, there are some food you eat that your stomach would be irritated. So sometimes certain stomach upsets are due to low concentration of certain enzymes in our digestive system. You understand? So these enzymes are very crucial. They're very, 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 very important. Okay. So the second point here is the digestive system works as a coordinated process involving various organs and enzymes. What I mean by this is the digestive system involves a cooperation. All right, a hand-to-hand work between the organs and the enzymes. all right, that are involved in digestion. All right, and also in the large intestine, remember, the large intestine has no secretion of enzymes. So secretion of enzymes ends in the small intestine. All right, the large intestine does not secrete any enzyme. The only thing that we find in the large intestine is the large intestine reabsorbs water. Okay, she absorbs water into the body, and also some electrolytes and some minerals also is being absorbed by in the large intestine. And also in the large intestine, there are so many bacteria. There are so many bacteria that breaks down the unused food materials, or the undigested food materials, breaks it down into the feces and the poop. All right, now there's always constipation. As we have, I know we've heard of that word, constipation. That is when you find it hard to poo. Maybe you want to use the toilet and you find it hard to really pass out feces with ease. Now what happens is, it is always advisable that you don't hold your feces for too long, because if your rectum is filled up and you keep on holding back these feces from coming out, in that rectum there is still reabsorption of water taking place. So the more water is reabsorbed in that rectum, the more less lubricated the poop becomes, that the feces becomes. So once you leave it there for too long, and then much water is being absorbed from that feces, it becomes too dry and too hard to come out from the anus. All right, so that is it for this particular video. Thank you for your time and have a nice day.